What's happening, y'all? Check it out. So I wanted to do a video talking about the recent Kendra G live. It was one of her dating shows where a gentleman had recently called in, and actually it's been deleted since then. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get clips of the original video, and I didn't want to necessarily share any other content creators' videos because a lot of them have a lot of their own personal content and a lot of their own responses and things inside of the video. So I wanted to kind of give my own personal response to it. And I figured a lot of you guys have already seen the video, but if you guys haven't seen the video, there are a lot of other content creators that are showing the actual footage of the video. So it's definitely readily available on live, even though Kendra G erased it after she started, I guess, getting backlash from, the responses in the comments saying that she was basically dead wrong in her response and how she handled the situation when she was on live with the gentleman. So basically what ended up happening was there was a guy, and he was a cool dude, man. He seemed like a real cool, nice guy. Um, he went by Papa Daniel, and I kind of noticed that she was gonna kind of try to son him or try to little boy him right off the jump, because as soon as he came into the live, he basically was like introducing himself, and he came in and was like, "Oh, I've been on your show before. I was on your show back in 2022, and basically I'm here, to try again." And everything started out cool and cordial at first, and in the midst of it, Kendra G asked him had he had children, and basically he was explaining to her, yes, I've had a son since the last time I was on your show, and she was asking him, the age of the child and everything. And he said 2 years old, and she was asking him, well, why aren't you with the child's mother? Where's the child's mother? And that's where the situation kind of went left, because he didn't really bring it up. He was trying to. He was actually. She was asking about his son, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's a Pisces, just like me. He he's like he was basically like kind of fawning over his son, and basically you could tell he was a good dad. You could tell he was the type of guy that regardless of the circumstances, he was stepping up to the plate and wanted to be a good father. And in my situation, I know a lot of you guys who have been here on my channel that you guys can kind of relate to. That's pretty much my situation. The circumstances were a little bit different in my situation, but um, the outcome was basically the same. It was a situation that wasn't necessarily planned, but we ended up, regardless of how it happened, we stepped up to the plate and handled our business like men should when that situation kind of happens. It's not an ideal situation for anybody, but basically what I'm going to go into what happened in his situation. So basically he got on the video and she kind of pressed him. He didn't necessarily bring it up. He was actually trying to move past the situation, but she kind of pressed him and was like, well, what happened to your baby mother? Like, what's going on with your baby moms? Like, and he's like, she tried to play the system. She was a foreigner, and she was trying to lock me into a baby. And, she was trying to trap me with a baby, thinking that I was going to marry her because she had the baby or whatever. And so Kendra G's like, well, what do you mean? She, basically she tried to trap you. And she's like, and the guy's like, yeah, and so Kendra G actually brought it up. Kendra G said, so you mean she tried to grape you, or you mean to tell me this woman graped you? And you guys kind of know what I mean, but and I think when she said that, it kind of sparked something in his mind. Was like, yeah, that is pretty much what happened to me. He might not have looked at it that way beforehand, but when she said it, it probably triggered something that said, like, yeah, that is kind of like what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time, Kendra G was kind of trying to minimize it and like, oh, well, as a man, you need to take accountability because you participated in the act and all of that kind of stuff. And I absolutely agree in the situation. But this gentleman did, when he came into the live, he basically didn't come into the live, shitting on his baby mom or anything like that. He basically came into the live telling his situation. And that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to get across on this channel, is that just because a man tells his story doesn't mean that he doesn't take accountability for the things that he, the part that he played in the situation. I know exactly firsthand what this gentleman felt like when Kendra G was and she was very combative, going back and forth with him about whether this was actually sexual abuse or whether this was actually, whether he was actually taken advantage of or whether he was a willing participant in whatever happened in this situation. And to me being somebody that has actually experienced that and that has actually been through the situation now, and like I said, a lot of you guys that have been here from the very beginning, you guys know my story was kind of very similar to that. And unfortunately, I'm going to tell you guys what happened in his situation first, and then I'll kind of come back to what I was saying. So he basically got on the live and he said that they were he was in a consensual situation with a young lady, and in the course of them being involved with each other, in the middle of it, when he was about to come, he ended up she locked her legs around him. Basically, she locked her legs around him and she was like, no, you're gonna have this baby, you're gonna have my baby, this, that, and the third. And Kendra was like, well, you were still a willing participant, and this, that, and the third. And again, he agreed. I agree. Even in my circumstances, I was a willing participant in the situation. The problem is that we kind of we tend to overlook certain elements when we start making judgments on certain situations that happen, especially if we don't know all of the pieces or all of the details involved. She's going off for that man's situation. And the thing about it was, I understand her trying to make him take accountability of what he did. I understand women trying to make me take accountability on my situation on what happened in my circumstances. But the thing about it is, just like him, I've stepped up to the plate. He stepped up to the plate. He's taking full responsibility for his son. I take full responsibility of my son. And to be 100% honest, my son is everything that I could have asked for, even in a situation where it was planned. So I love my son wholeheartedly, completely, and just like, it was a situation where, it was, a mutual situation where her and I was actually planning on this being the outcome. Um, But in his situation, he was actually, she basically straddled him and told him, yeah, you're going to come inside of me and that's what it's going to be. And when he did, he was saying, well, I figured we was going to take the plan B, this, that, and the third. And Kendra was like, well, regardless, um, you're the man and you should have known better and you should have, been more careful and you should take accountability for the situation. And no man is going to disagree with that. No man. Number one, he even said out of his own mouth that it was like, well, listen, I know I can't run with that narrative because that narrative, men are supposed to be tough and we're supposed to be, masculine, and that's not masculine for me to take that approach. So he actually was saying, listen, I'm not even trying to take that approach. I'm not trying to go that route with it, but the truth is the truth. And Kendra G kind of like, yeah, whatever. We don't believe the story, whatever, that kind of thing. And he basically at the end of you, and you could tell he was serious because there was a point in the video where he was like, listen, you could take it how you want to take it, I'm not laughing. There was no laughing matter to me, and I get it because I've been there where, and unfortunately I have to say this, um since I've been live with even this channel here and I've told my story, there has been um, a select few people. I would say 90% of the people that have come on to my channel have been very supportive, have been very understanding, and have allowed me to tell my story, and with no judgment or anything like that. But unfortunately, it seems like the ones that have judged me have been the women of my race, the black women, you know what I'm saying? And it's nothing against, I have nothing against, I want to say this wholeheartedly. I have nothing against black women at all. I absolutely love black women. I have a beautiful mother that I cherish with my heart. I have sisters, I have nieces, but just being honest, just being, 100% honest with the situation, the attacks that I have had on this channel, and I mean, you guys can kind of look in the comments, the attacks, because I don't erase any comments. I don't know if they erase any of their comments or anything like that. And it's not, been a whole lot of negative comments or anything, but when I have had any negative comments, that's usually who it's coming from. And it's basically in a derogatory way, basically saying that men can't be taken advantage of. And what I want a lot of people to understand is men and women just move differently by nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, men, we take things by force. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, the you know the types of crimes that we commit are forceful a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? If you look at a lot of criminal history, from a lot of different, men. I do, in my professional life, I am able to look at a lot of criminal background information. So with that being said, just with that being my background, I see a lot of gentlemen being, convicted of crimes of like force, a lot of forceful stuff. A lot of women get convicted of crimes of like finesse, a lot of fraud, a lot of stuff like that. So when we look at the nature of like just who we are, one of the beautiful things about men is our strength, the way that we're able to withstand stress and, stressful times, and, be able to handle like the grueling and the grit and the grind of like just everyday life and all of that kind of stuff, and all of the different stresses that we have to face just being men. And then women, the beauty of you guys is like your femininity, you know what I'm saying? The way that you carry yourself, the way that you can sway decisions and things like that, just with your natural influence and things like that. And so the way that a lot of women take advantage of men is through the finesse game more so than the forceful game. It's not necessarily like a lot of men try to take control through force. A lot of women, try to take control through finesse. And the wrong type of power in any hands is going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you take a good man that's strong, and that's a beautiful quality for a man to have. But if you take that, if you put that same package in a psychopath, and they're big and strong, and this, that, and the third, and you never know the outcome of what's going to happen and what he's capable of. So it's like the same thing on the other side of the game. It's like a lot of females have the ability to use their power for good or their power for evil. And unfortunately, we living in the times where a lot of them are choosing to use their power for evil. So I just wanted to tap in, man. I wanted to get that video done probably a few days ago. I know I'm a few days late. I absolutely appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I still see all of the comments. I absolutely love you guys for just continuing to rock with the channel and be there for me. And I will be back soon with some more content. I am sorry that it took me so long. There's been a lot of twists and turns and adjustments in my personal life, all good things. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to drop as much content as I would like to. But I am back, and I will be dropping some more content very soon. I absolutely love you guys. Thanks, and I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share the video, and get the content out, man. Love y'all. See y'all later.